Thank you very much, Pohibu.
Order!
Thank you.
Out! Get up! Easy! Easy! Hold! Shoot! Hey! Go! Turn! Platoon commander, take your position.
And the second platoon commander is Sergeant Major Yambotha. The third platoon commander is Sergeant Major Hokuga.
Right!
Fourth platoon commander,
Right!
Lance Corporal Henye. And the fifth platoon commander, Corporal Chingba. Apni Khan Itia Tika, Amahan Naga Army, Idukhan Toy Asi, who are the card of the nation and also the pride of the nation.
I, on behalf of His Excellency the President, General Retired Mbinek Paukonyak, Inale Zovenu, Honorable Atoiklonse, all ranks and files of GPR and NSN NAGA Unification, from the bottom of our heart, warmly welcome all the leaders of different organizations, led by leaders from Naga Hoho, leaders from NTC, leaders from Nagaland GB Federation, NBCC, Forum for Naga Reconciliation, Naga Mothers Association, Naga Student Union Federation, RO ENSF, ENPO, dignitaries, NBCC leaders, church leaders from different denominations who are sitting here in the dais and wherever you are. Nagaland tribe leaders, GBs, village chief, councils, church leaders of different neighboring villages, media fraternities, ladies and gentlemen, आज विषय मौन पर उलाइकन खुशी इनिका एकदम बिजी स्केड्यूल थकले भी अपनी खान इनवाइट करान शिना ये ते आइसे अमी खान नागा यूनिफिकेशन कुरा नाम पर एकदम बिजी थकले भी नागा नेशनल पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स इनवाइट करान शिना किमान आइलो शे एकदम डांगर रेस्पेक्ट अपनी खान के दिया से आगे दे अपनी खान वेलकम नौकरा तो अपनी खान आमी खान इक्या से इतो प्राय लास्ट एकदम स्पेशल रखता है एकदम खुशी पर आरो वेलकम करूबले थका तो the family members of martyrs who laid down their life for the cause of this Naga unification. On this day, in the year 2017, many leaders, national leaders and workers from different Naga political groups came together and formed this Naga unification. And today, we are celebrating the 17th years of Naga unification. We are blessed and honored to have you all here this morning.
The Forum for Naga Reconciliation joins the GPR and NSCN in marking this day of abiding significance for your government. More than ever, at this moment, The Naga people are faced with mounting challenges, both from within and without. This we must reason and act together. Our historical situation is allowing Naga society squandered by cultural and political lack, and now Nagas can no longer provide our national rights to be determined according to the careless tongues of unprincipled political scammers nor domesticated individuals under the guise of national workers. The sacred Naga National Trust belongs to all the Nagas and not only to a few. FNR hopes that the Nagas will be matured enough to be more perceptive and understanding of the world around us. To save ourselves from the chasm we are staring at, we must leave behind the current personal and group policies and change the political order among the Nagas. This change has to come through the inclusive democratic process of Naga political groups and the Naga public for defining and living out the Naga nation without further delay.
Itia Amigan 2007 basically the target was to bring the two warring factions, the two warring NSCN factions. Inika Kurigana Amigan 2007 itu din pra unification laga initiative loise. To in the course of our journey, the 17th years, itia duita bunawale ko to dosta NSN hoi jaise. And yet, kali failure pi nai, success story pi thakise. Amikan FNR aro GB Federation kan pra patronize kuri kana, tai kan pra effort di kana, aro NGO civil society so pra support kuri kana, amikan naga majate fratricidal violence, aro bloodshed to rakawa pari kana. Ajitak amikan ikki gorte bohiwa na parile bi mara mari tu khatom kuri kana itia amikan sob amikan laga goal tu kinika hoi kana honorable political solution howa lage koi kana amikan alag alag jaga te bohi thakile bi sob ekta jaga te jama na parle bi mon tu babna tu aro kam tu tate phane sai kana kam kuri ja ase itia amikan time punchise neki amikan kun jaga te kote pra amikan giri jaise ki nimite amikan laga goal tu ite tak realize pro na parigana inika thaki ase amikan nijor ke hudi wole laga amikan time punchise neki koi gana amikan sob babna kurole laga amikan naga manukan tu national workers tu bishi ase ko ase hole bi usa prabi amikan genuine patriot aro amikan genuine revolutionary ideologue tu thakise na nai amikan sob Christian tu ko ase amikan preacher kan bi bishi ase missionary kan bi bishi ase ole bi amikan usa prabi true disciple of Christ itu discipleship tu amikan thakise na thaka nai amikan hi naga manuhi amikan national worker kan hi nim sim life amikan laga style amikan hi bodli kuruwa na amikan laga banner amikan laga moto Nagaland for Christ itu hi amikan change kuro lagiwo amikan nation building kurase na amikan nation ke destroy kurase nijor nimite kam kurase na nijor laga life pi digena nation ke bachawo koigena kam kurase amikan itu sob kali national workers ekla no hai civil society NGOs charges ekla no hai public pi sob milai gena amikan ki pra girishe ki pra no puncha hoise ki nimite amikan itiatak amikan laga goal tu target tu no punchikena thake ase amikan sob babna kuri kena ami nohoile nohoi ami no parile manu ke pi parwole na dibo ami khawa par nai pele alag ke pi khawa na dibo ami hi 49 sitte no bohile to alag ke tu bohiwole na dibo koi kena inika amikan leaders kan workers kan pra bishi deri inika nijor nimite hi jor pra takot pra inika khara kore ahar pra naga manu tu bishi bak banga bangi ahi jaise neki itu nimite ami kan pi itia inika unification day inika din te shuru kurigana itu din pra shuru kurigana ami kan nijor pra no pancha nimite leaders pra no pancha nimite naga manu tu duk pasine ki koigana ami kan leaders pra tani gana ami kan nim sim botli kurigana age jaila bal hone ki koigana itu bi bapna korase ami kan satan logo bi iswar logo bi iki logo berawo koy আমি কাম 10 মান লোক একি লোক থালিতে খাব 10 মান লোক একি লোক বিছনাতে ঘুমাব আৰু নাগা লাগা কামতে বি আমি হি মালিক আছে কইগেন কোৱা মানুহ বেছি থাকি যাইছে আমি কান বেছি ডাবল ষ্টান্ডাৰ্ড থাকি যাইছে এটু পৰা আমি কান পিছে পৰা কান বি ডিসঅৰেন্ট হৈ যাইছে পাব্লিক লাগা সাপোর্ট বি কমতি হৈ যাইছে আৰু আমি কান লাগা 10 মান পৰা বি আমি কান কি হিসাব নকৰা বি থাকি যাইছে বলে বি ইটস নেভাৰ টু লেট আমি কান পৰা কমজোৰ থাকিলে বি নাগা লাগা ইস্যু তো জিনিউন আছে আমি কান আজি নপাৰি কেনে ছাৰ দিলে বি ফিউচাৰ জেনেৰেশ্যন পৰা তো পাৰ্সিউ কৰি থাকিবলৈ আছে এটো পৰা আপনি আমি লাগা ইন্টাৰেষ্ট তো আমি কান সেট এসাইড কৰি কেনে নাগা লাগা মঞ্জুৰ ফিউচাৰ জেনেৰেশ্যন লাগা হি কি জাগাতে ৰাখি দিব আমি কান লাগা প্ৰায়ৰিটি তাতে সেট কৰি কেনে এতিয়া গভৰ্নমেন্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়া হবি মায়ানমাৰ হবি naga laga issue to political issue ase koigena internationally acknowledged koigena thaka laga ekta issue ase etu pura ami kan laga naga leaders naga national workers etu kan laga gumjur nimite ami kan laga naga political aspiration aro naga struggle to ami kan botnam nokro lage koigena aro it is inherent in the human character that we judge people by their ability ami kan manu laga dunia laga nim tu ami kan manu ke judge kure takot pra dun sun pra noile gao sao pra noile number pra ole bi iso pra tu invisible qualities sukhu pra dekhiwa na para ami kan laga monte safa asin nai ami kan mon tu sida asin nai koigena isor pra to khali ituke sai ami kan Nagaland for Christ solemn oath lekena thakise itu pra once again kiman differences thaki kene bi ami kan martyrs kan naga nimite sacrifice kura kan itu kan ke respect kuri kena aha laga future generation kan nimite babna kuri kena nijor laga monjur to rakhi thaki kena isor laga face de sai kena mon safa kurigena mon sida kurigena ekbar aro naga ke bachabo nimite mon biligena kam kuri jawone ki koigena ami kan working committee NNPG laga nam pra sob ke salam dia ase aro khushi pra itu time loi dia ase thank you so much and kuknalim
aro 2015 3rd August NSN IM or Commonwealth of India agreed hoise sign korise etia 9 years chayase likewise sixth NNPG or Commonwealth of India logo agreed position ito agreed kora sign kora to etia 8 sal chayase to amikan nagakan khali agreement koribo ito break off koribo agreement koribo self break off koribo enaga to ko thakibo naki time has come what is what ki ase ito sita koribo lage solo sita ahibo lage. People have become so impatient. People are tired of hearing underground fiction, ceasefire agreement. No. Enough time we've wasted, enough blood we've shed, enough innocent life we've lost. The Nagas have lost so many precious life. We cannot take them back. Ito kan kuri ahato laga kila pa siya megan. Eno na tagibo to. Amagabe human beings. Nagas are not second to any other human being. Because of this problem, because of unsolved political issue, we are suffering. We are going through so much of hardships. Kopuna bare, inaka disturb area lagai dibo, apsa lagai dibo, ki lagai dibo, time de markha thakibo. Aron Nagas remain divided. shall be divided and subdivided. 20 faction upon who has a gun business koribo. Enough is enough, please. Nagaland American boybo to American Laga Pachakampi boybo to American Laga future in the Papana Koribolage, Edubra. Whatever I am have agreed and signed on 3rd August 1997, they should stick to that. NNCP, NN6, NNPG, 17 November 2017 day sign korado, respect loge, edu anibolage, solution ahibolage. Manokanto dal phat khathakibo amakadam badi nakabudo, nagakambi phat kabule munasido. Naga Kisman, Naga Americans kanto scientist particular who inase, Kisman Mondibi is astronaut Jaboliase. We are not less than other nationals. Itu para ami Nagaland Tribes Council kan kopoli thagato itia. Ki to hoise ki noksang hoise chari me lagi deto ikel wahibi. Arabani kan permanent friend go sign korado, agree korado, apne kan naam digena korado. Ki dise itu legena solution hibi. Nagaland is a rich country. We are sitting on gold mine. Sona to American Naga mati pitu de asito kintu ulopan na pare. Ego ulopan na pare because of this unsettled political issue. Itu para apna ka be man to koribi. Na public be man to koribi dibi. Ki to practical ase ground realities to accept korigena morambara joldi ito Naga political solution to ahile phal. I speak this on behalf of all the tribes in Nagaland, including Inbo. They are with us. Itu para kata de itu gobo itu no korose kule do amakana yadi para enaka kore thakado unheard nahoni bo ekun national zero hui jabo itu para emane to koribi leaders kan to leaders holibi tangan to manu ke service dibula sito Jesus ahanishna manu ke serve kobile se tangora se ami ase enoka no hoina na manu ke unite korega naga unite korega na itu joldi solution to anile hal Ito football khile mano goro bade ho jaye to amake de to na pare Nagaland na thakya se ko na ito so ba se Nagaland kintu develop kori na pare because of this political issue ito bara ami ko bole thaka to khata de moram bara we are with you, we are with anyone who fights for the Nagas of Nagaland. First, Nagas nationhood, it is a good concept. Nagas outside Nagaland, they are our brothers. It's a big family. But let us first set Nagaland in order. Nagaland thaka manokhan amakana to sil gorigena to pichide Arunachal aibina, Manipur aibina, Assam aibina, Burma aibina. Amakan majutibi mil melamnai. Our house is not in order. How can we bring these people? Ito metakan pa aibole welcome. They should take their own stand. They should also fight and join us. Not that Nagas of Nagaland will carry everything for them and feed them. Give them spoon feeding. No. Ito para moram para khate de. Ito kuase ito mondala kagina yadia ha khan. Amar national workers khan. Keman tangoria se ito khan. You try, you strive without ceasing. Stop no korigena. Ito momentum lugena. Joldi Naga political solution to anile. Some Naga manu khoshi hobo. Apne ke ashirwad babo. Esor khoshi hobo. Thank you.
Naga political issue is not belongs to a particular faction. Only be Naga political issue to Naga people's laga say. That is number one. Revolutionist can transparency kurigena government of India logo negotiation kurbolaki. Inga public to itu bhabda and various leaders of Nagaland bhabda kan itu yas. Accordingly, unify kurushe sub unify kurubo norlebe majority to unify kurushe. And this is the mother of unification. Unify, Naga unification. Naga kurgina under the umbrella, under the leadership of unification, GPRN Senpra, lead Kurgina, Nagamano, Milai Share. Nagamano to, yes, sovereignty, Garani, your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father. Choli, gena, Aishato. And now it is hand down to you and me. Iniga Kurgina idea. Naga manu na milali no hobo gogina unify kurushe. To unification kurgina. Bishekta fruitful. Talata result paishe. That is Naga manu na mila kunba faction tu na mila manu thagilebi. Mila manu to milai keno. Call it NNPG Working Committee. Kurgina Government of India logo negotiate close kurgina se. Kila diga hosha Naga manu mandate and a sen I am logo dishile for the sovereignty. But the government of India completely drop it. Itu bro, aro integration be kurba nori niga koi dishe it gadi Naga manu milai keno. Especially Nagas, mainland of Nagaland. Itu do kiman faction se milai keno. Government of India logo kotha kurbo. We have given our mandate to the particular organization for sovereignty. But it has already dropped out. Then where the Nagas of Nagaland? It two Nagaland manukam kiti rakidibo. Nagas of Manipur, Nagas of Myanmar, Nagas of Arunachal, Nagas of it got the rakibo. It got flatly refused Kuridi say it got especially Nagas of Nagaland. Man, backbone Gurgina Kota Grubu Gogina, Government of India logo Kota Grusha. Next to sovereignty. Sovereignty brand Jedi Hole Ki Grubo Parabo. As of now, as per the ground reality, Gurgina, call it agree position Panailusi. Thank you, leaders of national Naga nation leaders. Abdagan logo thank you dear say. Killer, your part has done. Ato kilum sir President Bra. Rana Pio Raji Pio ektum village level tak. Thank you dear sir. Nagaland GB Federation Bra. Your part you have done. Parisha. Parigina 17 November agree position. Now that issue has been 2018 India the both house Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha it will lay down Kurish. Aro both house bra okay go on. Solution panailubi. Parliament de fasla kuri dise. Itu garni governor of Nagaland, the then governor of Nagaland, Aran Ravipra. 2020 Nagaland Legislative Assembly Nagato has concluded. Officially declared. Kam Pariside Uthini Amar former Speaker, NTC President Coalition, Nagala history, code, ahigina, harai, di bole, man kushis can do, Kuranai, but this time. Naga history, Delete Rakidishi, finish. Now, civil society, revolutionists, Kimanasa unification under the, your job has done. It is now civil society. Kamas. On behalf of GB Federation, appeal Kuratu, civil society kat. Why not? Amakat Jagana Delete. Government of India logo. Time. Signing ceremonial. Kita Kurubo. It do that duty, it took Kuruboli to civil society. Itu hi ase. Government of India question, oh no, the ball is in the court of Naga. They have to unite. You know, milai kira hile aji rati overnight to be among the ready fast la kurubule. Ready ase. Government of India iman ti ase to. Itu garoni. Oh, unification. Itu penasya bisa successful kurgi ahisya. Aro one more ekta kam kurubo lagi. Kiman faction ase. Man strip to join Kurilobo, Milai Lobo. Okay, if you don't sacrifice your rank in file, your auto kilung sir, your presidency, your collective kilung sir, it will compromise no Kurubo Gole, you just say it. Tadi ini got Torgido boy be. But we say all the faction, please cooperate as one Naga political issue. Tadi ahijabi. Hoile, eta civil society ka naam dangan logo appeal kuriya se. Milai lobby. Even if you don't want to sacrifice your rank in file, you just remain. Bukibi, like as NNPG, nija jagati, nija rank and file bukikina, naga lagai shoot hoile, milai kina, agree position panalo shoot. Same as that.
What began as a mass Naga movement in the beginning is gradually dying a natural death. Today, we must acknowledge that our once mighty movement has now lost impetus, weakened by the pandemic of division, vested interests, and isms. In just a few years, our adversaries have not only erased the memories of our costly journey from the hearts and mind of today's generation, but they are also sparing no expense to rewrite our history by sowing discord among our tribes, regions, and among the Naga people. There are so much misconception and confusions among our political stands among the young Nagas today. And though our leaders recognize this great adversary, both foreign and within ourselves, we are unwilling to free ourselves from the shackles of our own shortfalls. It has become almost hypocritical for most of us to even preach about what is right and wrong. We have reached a point where we cannot even speak up our minds freely from or with our Nagas because we feel insecure, because we do not know which school of thought or ideology that person might be aligned with. We cannot call a spade a spade. We cannot accept criticism. Perhaps we should stop pointing fingers at one another after all. Factionism and division has corroded the very moral of the Naga people, both young and old. We cannot deny that there are divisions in our churches, within our student platforms, and civil society organizations. There are vested tribal interests, and so forth. We proclaim ourselves nation for Christ, where on Sunday we are told to love our neighbors as ourselves. But when Monday comes, again, we are divided on multiple fronts in our administration, in our halls of learning, in our justice system, and in our everyday lives.
Amagan Eastern kan FND to chili karuni jaise gwele apna sob jani ase amagan naga political te hat na choe काम करी जाबो करूनी पृथ्वी दे खोल हो लगे स्पेस ते जाए ऐसे पृथ्वी का अमान भी दिखापरा दिबो लगे पृथ्वी दे की लगे ऐसे इतो करूनी अमान इसकन अमान एक लाइन होए अमार नाका नेशनल वर्ड्स कन भी मिलाए बले कोथा कुरा इतो कन सब आके जाबो कानूनी दो पृथ्वी दे और अमार नागा खान थका जगह दे शांति थाकी बोला के Ito karuni ama sob milai bile bishibar kotha kuriye she. 2 number de nambrahi no hoy. Kinto naga manu mon milai bile kam ekta hoy bile bhavna ekta hoy bile kuri jaile hi bhavna pungchubo aman laga ake kam ki ase. Ito karuni ama laga stand to idoi ase ama khan ekla bhavna kura no hoy. Though ENPO is from grassroots level aman organization to naga national laga kam de kiman kobal pia group pisho jaise ama khan faction pisho jaise kinto ama khan nachari bile ake kina kuri jabo public kina shanti te thajibo ito karuni ama khan milabli kam kuri ja laga ajibi amar ENB opera ito hi appeal kuribo mone ase aru kam kuribo lage ama khan ekta hoile hi achete kam kuri jade isor bra bi amange blessing tibo.
In the revolutionary history of Naga nationalism, the past 17 years of the GPN and NSN unification is a chapter to be inscribed in special letters, because even in the midst of chaos and brutal facridical acts, GPN and NSN has stood tall, celebrating each year the rebirth of Naga consciousness, reconciliation and unity among Naga political groups. We have played important role with our partners in the working committee and in PGs. We had political negotiations with government of India and successfully concluded the talks. GPR and NSN has always been very active to the idea of genuine Naga unity and reconciliation organized by the Church, FNR, and Apex tribal bodies. Standing here before you, I confidently say that GPR and NSCN exist to fulfill the hope of the Naga fraternity for a stable geopolitical territory where the Nagas and non-Nagas within and around will coexist in perfect harmony and move shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the world. The word insurgency no longer denotes to Naga political issue. In the agreed position, the phrase political and historical rights of the Nagas has replaced all abominable terms which demean the Nagas and their just struggle. The entities have negotiated and focused on the administrative and political considerations, among others. GOI has acknowledged the universal principle of the right to self-determination of the peoples and nations, and Nagas too must consider the political realities of the day. This understanding is the key and focal point. The Naga legitimacy through agreed position is absolutely clear in the considerations of India and Indian and South Asian conflict scenarios. As we have taken up the matters, the regional and global perception too will change. It underlines the need for a new political synthesis and philosophy. A people's struggle and conflict stage long for sovereign independent nationhood always has historical and political basis. GOI has acknowledged it. Mahatma Gandhi, on the eve of Indians' independence, was absolutely clear about the right of the Nagas. This truth cannot be erased by any goodwill gesture. We base our argument on facts of history. A new foundation has to emerge in order to create powerful vision for the future. The present arrangement cannot sustain. Nagas are drawn in the whirlpool of social, economic, and political liabilities and impoverishment, dancing to the tune of others. This has to change. The Naga youth of today need institutions to achieve self-reliance with an effective, self-sustainable fiscal business and management regimen, acquire professional excellence in technological and managerial education. Our planning and delivering systems should rely on techno-economic forecasting models to create a world of our own. Social and political awareness and the right to reciprocate and react to matters of public concern should be guaranteed through a fair political environment. 17 years ago prior to that, Naga intelligentsia and the societal institution was much fragmented, which led to the divide among the principal actors in the revolutionary movement. Individualistic and personal agendas could not sustain Naga movement, and so a genuine unity movement was necessitated, which led to the formation of NAGA Unification, which was declared on 22nd November 2007. Mushrooming faction is still a huge cause of concern, but the silver lining is that there is clarity on who is working for Naga Nation and who is self-enrichment in the name of Naga movement. Every national worker must understand that seniority, position, and status gain over the year is to strengthen the resolve and commitment to serve the nation, not build own castle and threaten our benefactors. Failure to follow this revolutionary principle will eventually force the people to face out selfish and inconsiderate leaders. Dear friends, from 2017 onward, with the formation of Working Committee and NPGs, a huge responsibility was given to me to coordinate with various groups, governments, and the concerned in the Union of India. As we sat across the table, we could get a clear picture of what had been going till then. Negotiation table cannot be taken as a platform to argue, debate, or give lecture on history every time. Neither is it a platform to break, threaten others with international connections and what political and military damage one could inflict upon India. A principled historical stand, putting forth people's practical demand, will, and desire on the negotiating table is a higher degree of political immaturity and commitment at this hour. Former GOI interlocutor Mr. R.N. Ravi declared to Working Committee delegation that he will accept anything in writing form and that all matters of negotiations would be done on the table verbally. It was a rude shock. We insisted we wanted everything to be put on record, to which the interlocutor said it is for the government of India to decide, since others, probably referring to NSA and IM, were in a habit of conducting negotiations unrecorded and in verbal mood. Working Committee and NPGs had to stress for a healthy deliberations on all issues, very confrontative at times, but eventually the talks evolved and everything was officially put on record for reference and clarification in future. The political rights of the Nagas were addressed to be taken in totality, right from the unwritten periods of oral traditions, memorandum, to the Simon Commission, to the ceasefire agreement of 6 September 1964, to 6 rounds of negotiation that started in 7 October 1967, taken to be among the holistic historicity of the Nagas. In the eyes of the GOI, the only binding agreement in the considerations was the 16-point agreement, which the Working Committee and NPGs outrightly rejected. The government of India refused to accept the 1951 plebiscite on the grounds of technicalities. But for the Nagas, it denotes the will and determination and a turning point in their history. The holistic history of the Nagas, both written and unwritten, needed the absolute recognition together with the history of Indo-Naga wars after 14 August 1947. This is specifically inscribed in the agreed position of 17 November 2017. The government of India recognizes the historical and political rights of the Nagas to self-determine their future in consonance with their distinct identity. Thus, a new beginning was set into motion. We had to do it systematically without affecting the integrity and political configuration of India as well. Therefore, a relationship that is honorable, enduring, and an inclusive, peaceful coexistence with due regard to contemporary political realities was acknowledged as practical route. We are thankful to the prominent political observers, intellectuals, legal luminaries from Nagaland and mainstream India, including the former judges of the Supreme Court of India, our senior administrative cadres, political leaders, former legislators, retired bureaucrats, tribal leadership, NGBF, Student Federation, and civil society members for shaping the status paper and agenda for political negotiations in accordance with the agreed position. It runs into volumes and will be printed and documented for academic and political purposes. Each and every subject deliberated and amended are in the records. Before sitting across the table for negotiations, we had to look at the political and institutional structure of India, how the entire system works, the political philosophies, policy making, and integrated functioning of the constitutional mechanism that drives the entire apparatus of India. A strong bureaucracy and a judicial system with an extensive political systems are a core of nation's asset at the negotiation table. We may see only the GOI interlocutor or a representative, but what holds him and surmounts he is to be understood. The GOI and the NSCM and IM talks and the framework agreement appear to be a non-disclosure documents, or rather undocumented parleys. Negotiations from 1997 to 2015 had failed to do justice to the Naga political issue. Everyone was shrouded to mystery save for a single-page framework agreement. Against this background, what was left before NNPGs was to create a carefully devised alternative to counter every stand of the government of India on the matter of political integration, alternative mechanism of amalgamation on matters excluding legislative domains, cultural integration, and other ways were deliberated. Integration is all about merger of other Naga areas with Nagaland. It involves several political processes and resolving several conflicts. Naga areas of Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh have several complications on their own. Most of these areas are backward with no infrastructure and connectivity, and other increments of development are yet to reach these areas. It needs much planning and economic growth levels to bring in economic integration. Towards this, the first step had to be separation of administration and legislature by creating new statutory bodies. Meanwhile, other sentimental and emotional issues and matters confronting other tribes within and adjoining areas have to be settled. To step into such a process, territorial councils for Naga areas of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam has been agreed into the settled position between Government of India and NNPGs. We do not accept the sixth schedule of the Constitution of India, and the reasons have been made clear why the territorial councils need a separate political structure that is not linked in any manner with that of autonomous council. Nagaland state was formed through a systematic process that took time. Naga People's Convention in August 1957 adopted the resolution for forming a separate administrative area by merging the Naga Hill district then under Assam and its twins and frontier division of NEFA. This resolution was accepted by the Government of India through the NSTA Act in 1957. The Government of India itself created the new administrative area of Naga Hills Twinsan area. The 16-point agreement was signed 3 years later in 1960. The Constitution was commanded to create a state in 1962. Nagaland became a reality in 1963. To form Nagaland, then in the 1950s, it took over 6 years. Naga integration is our people's legitimate right. Unfortunately, this is now a mere slogan to buy political relevance and create false hope Had there been genuine political will and effort with proper system and structure, 27 years back, integration would have been a reality by now. Nothing happens instantly at the stroke of a pen. Officially on status paper of the GOI and the Working Committee and NPGs, the Government of India has agreed to constitute a high-power, empowered committee as per the agreed positions so as to work out the traditional boundaries of the Naga areas. Today, the process of integration of the Naga areas has been set into motion. We feel the sense of belonging, dedication, and commitment to our ancestral lands. It is also a reality that Nagaland belongs to the 17 indigenous Naga tribes and indigenous non-Naga tribes and settlers as on 1st December 1963. Any matter on the political or customary affairs of these 17 Naga tribes will be decided by mutual understanding within themselves. Nagas of Nagaland cannot interfere or decide on the affairs of the Nagas of Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. In the same way, our customary system prohibits intervention of other Naga tribes from Manipur or Arunachal Pradesh intervening in our political rights or customary matters. We must avoid irritation, intrusion, or coercion on land economy or governance. Our history and culture taught us to express brotherhood and solidarity during testing times. A separate form of government, constitution, defense forces, foreign affairs, flag are matters incidental to a sovereign independent nation. Such a political consideration of sovereign independent nation has to be written in black and white in any text of agreement. It was the toughest task for NNPGs to undo the damages done earlier in the agreement, so stated to have been made on 3rd of August 2015. The self-determination of the Nagas lies in the Naga identity. Absolute control over the land, its resources, customary laws, practices, and procedures. The sovereign power of the Nagas remains vested in the independent federal system of villages and territories of each Naga tribe. Therefore, a clear separation of the legislative powers from that of the Parliament of India has to be the first step towards achieving the vision of Naga nation. Towards this, the negotiation had led to the establishment of an appropriate legislative system in Nagaland. The bicameral legislature of Tatar Hoho will have an upper house of the Naga customary system called the Nagaland Federal Hoho and the democratically elected lower house called Lesi Hoho. This would be the appropriate legislature for all the matters that concerns the affairs of the Nagas. Nagas will have an insignia and Naga flag will be a part of the customary system of the Nagas. A separate page will be inserted in the Indian passport for the Nagas to reflect our identity on the free movement regime, FMR. Exemption will be made on the Indian passport for the indigenous people on both sides of the Indo-Myanmar border. The 1962 Indo-Myanmar border agreement can be reviewed by the Nagaland Tatar Hoho. In the present scenario, Nagas must put our heads together and deliberate. We must retrieve our historical and political rights through an effective political mechanism. Friends, we all know the principles and objective of NSN unification was well laid on 22nd of November 2007 at the Ovisha village conclave under Newland district. The trust agreement signed between the then Kilonser of NSNK, Mr. Sesin Son, and the Kilo Kilonser of NSNIM, Mr. Ajeto Chopi, has withstood the test of time. The scope to create a wider platform to negotiate with Government of India became a reality with the formation of NSN unification. Naga society has undergone a series of socio-political transition during the past 2 centuries. 19th century marked the beginning of external interventions, conflicts, and getting adapted to the contemporary administrative and political systems. Christianity as a religion and Christian mode of education entered the Naga society and consciousness. Dear friends, the Naga revolutionary movement was set into motion in order to achieve the objectives of absolute sovereignty and to emerge as a full-fledged nation of the Nagas. The ceasefire agreement of 1964 and the negotiation with Mrs. Indira Gandhi stands as a milestone in the whole political scenario where the negotiation reached the status of a protectorate nation like Bhutan. In 1967, India was still in the days of political infancy and reorganization of the states was not complete. 3 decades later, by 1997, when the NSA and IM entered into the ceasefire agreement, India had become a powerful country with a global standing. The ceasefire agreement, when it was signed abroad, failed to include the required parameters, including third country mediation, intervention of international organizations so as to achieve the objective of Naga nationalism. The Amsterdam Communique too could not set the agenda for negotiated settlement on integration of Naga areas and absolute sovereignty. The 3rd August 2015 made the Naga political issue an internal matter of the government of India. This is a fact. The government of India and NSN IM deliberated the signing of the framework agreement with the Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister NSA, Deputy NSA, the interlocutor and the core of NSN IM leadership did attend the ceremony to celebrate granting Naga integration, Naga flag, and Naga constitution outside the Union of India. Explaining 100 times wouldn't give you an answer. Soon after, the people of Nagaland heard utterances like Nagaland will cease to exist. Mistakes committed by anyone in the process must be admitted. Naga integration has to begin from the heart, not forced or dictated. Attitudes of dictatorship and domination will not pay dividends in a political initiative. I pray and hope that a new, vibrant, harmonious, peaceful time will dawn on the Naga people. I assure and guarantee our people that the GPNS and unification will walk that extra mile to forge an enduring partnership with all Naga entities and leaders